Hey there, gamers. Welcome back to Cryptic Gaming. I hope you guys been having a wonderful week with this grind, man. Let me tell you, I've actually been enjoying the game quite a bit here. I'm going to show you what I've got going on here. I'm going to be doing a casual grind to get my Corvette completely finished to level 17. I want to be very particular on the weapons, the builds that I'm doing. And I'm going to explain why. If you watched the Kraken battle last night, if not, we'll probably try our ship out on it here tonight, just see how we're progressing. But there was some things that I seen that I needed to do to my own ship, then some things that I think as a crew we're going to be able to build upon based off what I'm hearing from some of the guys that are making some builds here in the Discord. So I want to make something that's going to work comparable in there. I've always been a DPS guy. I don't really mess with heals much, but we do have some guys like Behemoth King and AP and Dirty Harry, and they have some really good heal builds a lot of times. But yeah, like I say, man, I'm just going to be doing a casual grind on this tonight. And if you got any questions, be sure to ask. Answer them any way that I can. I just need to make sure that my stream is actually working here. If you give me just a second, we'll make sure we get us a thumbnail and all that kind of good stuff up here. Let's see. Nope, that's not what I was wanting. Pixel Lab. There we go. I've got so many programs that I make my stuff in here. Okay, so we're going to call this the Kraken Slayer build. And like I said, this will be evolving as we test it out. But I did notice a few things. One of those being that I wanted to have an electric build with the Kraken. The fire probably works pretty good, but it's going to duck down. I've noticed anytime you start to get a fire on it, it rotates a little bit and it puts the fire out. So fire does do damage to it. I have noticed that shooting the weak spots with electricity actually causes it to, like, I don't know. It's basically like watching a mosquito hit a bug zapper. It almost seems what it seems like it does more pain for a longer period of time with the damage there. So that's kind of what I'm focusing in on when it comes to this build tonight. But I'm going to show you what we've got. Now, for those who were asking about, having the Corvette build early I don't think it's really early. I think something's going on. I reported it in anyway. But like I said, it seems like it's paying out too many smuggler points. Someone had reported in that it was like 2,400 per plunder that they're doing. I was getting like 6 tokens. I wasn't even looking at the SP. I was getting 6 tokens per hit, and just grinding through that. I've not even completed the weekly challenges for that stuff, and I'm currently, let me look see where I'm at on this pass here, guys. So like I said, I don't know. I don't know if it's working properly or not. I'm not bad mouthing the game by any means, but I just don't remember being through this quick. So when you're looking at your Smuggler Pass, I've already done Quartermaster, Gunnermaster. We're over halfway through. I need what 13, I think, for Shipmaster. So we'll probably grind that out pretty quick. I'm probably going to have less than that. I've earned a couple of Smuggler points here, and I've been doing the contested zone plunders. And anytime you see a fort come up for a defense or an attack on that map, so we're going to talk a little bit of maps here. Let's see here. Wow. Okay. Must be earning some things up there still. Oh, there is an issue in game if you're watching. When you log out and you get done playing, make sure that you spend your guild marks. I know it's inconvenient. If you don't, when you log back in right now, it's going to convert to silver, and you're going to have to come all the way over here to mailbox, and you're going to have to pick up stuff in the mailbox. Okay, so I don't have mail. I spent everything out of it earlier. So that does make it kind of a pain if you're saving up, guys. You're going to have to hit your little short-term goals as far as like grinding up your guild marks and getting what you can. So what I've been doing right now for my Corvette is I went ahead and started investing in Storm Tongue. And like I said, this build's going to take a little bit to perfect. I don't have the exact rolls I'm really wanting to get on this thing, but this is what I'm thinking so far. Now I can't hit squat with a long gun, but I can still hit pretty good with the culverin. This thing's got 38 gun ports all the way around. So plus your auxiliary ports pushing that to 40. So that's not too bad. But what I'm thinking right now is I'm going to be replacing the Thunder Dragon cannon here on the front. I'm going to replace it with the Storm Tongue as well. I've just bought another one. I got to find where this thing's at. You know how it is when you're looking for your weapons. Now, the reason I'm moving the Thunder Dragon cannon is it's not God rolled. It's not even really where I want it. It's just something I threw on the front of this thing. But when it comes to Thunder Dragons, I've rolled a ton of these out, and then you can't even God roll the third one. So the third mark on it, you get two that are right, but that third one doesn't hit. I want a perfect build with perfect God rolls with exactly what I want. So the full build's going to take a little bit of time, and the way it is with the rolls, by the time you get the perk you want, then you lock it in, and then you're going for God rolls, or you're going to run out of being able to roll these things. And that does happen sometimes. Unfortunately, that's what I say. It's just going to take a little bit of time. I've passed this thing. Not there it is. So, like I see, I've got a couple of new ones on here, and right now I've got some bombards on the back. I haven't decided if I'm going to stick with bombards on the back. But so this here, I've got my God rolls on this. It's got an electric 3 and a combustion 1 straight off. Now, obviously, I would rather a firepower perk to increase the percentage of this thing. I didn't get one. I got damage, but at least it's a God roll 66, so I just left it where it was at. As you can see, I've got 34 rolls on here. I may come in and try to change that out, and I might get lucky and be able to. Try the lethal, because if you hit the weak points, you get an extra 36% damage. Each of the Kraken's eyes is worth a weak point, so that's going to be pretty nice. And then electric damage, I put the storm, or I'm sorry, second storm says all electric damage dealt on this weapon also dealt to nearby targets. I'm hoping that that means other eyes, but even if it means tentacles, it has tentacles that it's constantly moving in front of its eyes to block your shots. I don't know if y'all noticed that. So this could actually maybe potentially spread out to the tentacles is what I'm hoping, and install it so our long gunners can get in there and pop them with their Garudas and things like that. That's kind of what I'm thinking on that. But then on the starboard side, I went ahead and changed the build up just a little bit. We've got the amplified, again, damage. It's not even God rolled, but I've got 42 rolls. I'm running out of Ascension modules, so I'm having to grind those out. And I've just been switching back and forth. That's what the casual grind's going to be, is getting Ascension modules and getting these things upgraded, just so you can see what we go through. This is typically why I end up with so many different types of materials, because if you're doing Wolvenhol, you're going to be getting a really nice ample supply of a lot of things, but I like to focus on what it is in particular I'm getting. But right now, I'm not seeing a lot of 15 ships, level 15 ships out there that I can go in and hit and get those ascended weapons like we used to. I think they've actually changed that. The boats are now level 14s out there, and very rarely will you get a level 15 red flag, and typically it does not have a weapon on it at all. So, like I said, they've changed a few things in the game. So this is kind of what I'm looking at. But right now I've got the damaged, amplified, explosive, and deadly strike. I'm going to try to looks like I've got 42. I'll probably God roll that out. But I would really like to get it to a firepower perk. So that'll be the next one that I'm working on here once I get it perfected in. And like I say, on the back right now, I've just got some Bombard 5s I threw on here. I think it's got a couple Shock, a Siege, and a second Storm on here. So we'll see. I'm not really planning on shooting that too much at the Kraken from the back end of it, mainly because I've got 6 ports on the front and 14 on the side. So that's insane. We're looking at quite a bit of firepower just off the front of the boat, without having to deal with the 4 in the back. So we got 32 gun slots up front, I believe it is, and that's what I'm going to mostly be utilizing. But I don't think the back is going to matter too much. I think once I get that and then I get the armor here, I'm going to switch this over to the Mantle of the Deep. So I'm going to be working on getting that upgraded as well. This is going to help reduce the damage that the sea monster puts out. So hopefully that's going to work in my favor there. We'll see. Furnitures, obviously, I'm still waiting on the blubbering station stuff. I'm still playing with some of this stuff. I'll probably end up adding maybe a trunnion furnace on here. And the reason I'm thinking about a trunnion furnace, let's see what we got here. We got the Worm's Breath. This is going to increase secondary damage of explosion weapons by 20%. It's got explosive 1 on there, or combustion 1. And it could help trigger the shell shock. So we might look to see if we can get some shell shock on the squid. I just don't know that it's going to be viable. I think the blubbering station is a primary furniture, and that's probably what I'll end up be using, the major furniture on there. Most likely when I open that, and I'm pretty close to getting that thing. So I'm actually going to look see if I just opened it here. Let's see. There is a Worm's Breath though, but like I said, I don't know that. That's what I'm using. I don't know that it's going to do anything, and I didn't really focus on any of the actual explosive perk on there, the combustion perk. Let's see what we got here. I will have to double check that thing on there. I'm not seeing it. Hang on. I might not have opened it yet. It's the final loadout on the pass here. Oh, goodness. Come on now. It's going to take me a minute to get used to this new crap on the control here. All right, so I want to look at... Really, Wolvenhol is about the best place to get this stuff at. But I'm going to look over here at this pass real quick. It has about the best payout. Now, I used to be able to go grind out the weapons over in the western sections of the map and grind out those level 15 boats, and you could get all the Ascension modules you needed. I'm talking way more than you would get from Wolvenhol, but I guess that they realized what people were doing. So, the battle eye system that they used, where it's supposed to be used for finding people who are like cheating and stuff like that. It's not really looking for people that are cheating. It's looking for ways to slow down the grind. I think they think if they can slow down the grind, they can keep people engaged for a full season. Because at the state that the game's currently in, they're gonna have to cut the seasons half time. I think everyone's grinding out materials and the entire seasons quickly enough that they could really cut them in half or maybe reduce them down to 2 months instead of three, which really they're close to 3.5 to 4 month long seasons is because they always get extended. That's something if you're new to the game, expect the seasons to get extended. But yeah, we're looking at about 7 more tokens. So I could grind out some smuggler tokens. So let's see where. Yeah, so you have the daily free chest here. Here's where you find your tooling favors. They're still in here. You don't access them via the pass anymore, where you used to come up to the Smuggler Pass and you could tab over and you could find them here. They're no longer up here. So this is what I'm looking at here. Kill the mighty Kraken 10 times. That ain't going to happen. So like I said, there's 9 plunders there being completed, 20 plunders there being completed. But then there's it's just weird the way it's working because I haven't even completed all those things and we're almost done with the pass. So and then there's another complete 40 plunders. There's 9 of those. I'm not sure why it's spreading out the way that it is, but it seems to be keeping track of it. But none of them are actually complete. So we're looking at 2, 4. We're looking about another 9 tokens probably there, which is pretty close to what I need for the pass. I need 12. So we're also getting quite a bit of tokens earlier. Like I say, it's not because we're completing those. Something's going on where it's actually, and maybe it's because it's in the contested zone. So contested zone is up here. See if we can bring it up now. Okay, I'm not sure what's going on, but we should be able to see the faction wars here. I guess their stuff's screwed up. Man, we picked the Dutch last night. Say it's doing some weird stuff in the game. So I'd picked. Oh shoot. No, I picked the wrong one. I was supposed to pick the campaigny. Oh well. Well darn. Anyway, so it doesn't really matter. I'm not too big into the faction war system, but all these are actually set up. Seems like we're getting our manufacturers, contested territories can produce war assets. You could actually come in here and click on this stuff and produce your war assets if you wanted to within the Helm. Let's see, how many of these? Well, it didn't track anything that I did last night. I'm going to have to report that in. That's annoying. A lot of our progress that we made in this stuff last night running this, I mean, we ran faction for about 2 hours in here, and it just completely lost it. So, well, darn. Okay, well. Anyway, that's where we're going to be headed, is up this way. We're going to start doing some of our faction stuff, so. I'm not worried about building more assets on my manufacturers. I mean, I guess we could, but I think you got to go and pick them up and then take them to a location from what it sounds like. And I just don't care about doing any PvP. The game's not set up right for PvP for me to engage in it. That's just my opinion. And it's fun when you're in your crews and stuff. So that's something we could do as a crew. Everyone just set the same areas so we can pick up the areas when they're ready and all. Be like how we used to do eights back in the day, back when people would run their pieces of eight. I don't think there's a whole lot of eight runners around anymore. Maybe a few. I've not seen a Helm wager, and I don't know. It's been a while. When I say seen a Helm wager, I mean I don't see many people running them. Occasionally you'll see it. I never run them. I just pick what the area has here. But I tell you what, I'm getting excited about some of these new games coming out. I'll live free on Game Pass if you got Game Pass Ultimate over on Xbox. I'm gonna be playing it over there. I think it's like $90 on the PS5, so definitely we'll play it over there for free. But that's just kind of just a fun little shooter game. I enjoyed it, a space type thing. Where is our territories here? Yeah, see all the ships out here are level 12s anymore. But it seems like if you're in a defense, I'm not sure what all's going on over here, but there's freaking people mad. Boy, they're mad. Oh, that's right. I ended up going DMC. That's why everything's aggro. Well, this is actually good because this was actually a friendly zone last time I was over here, but I still managed some points. But you get more points. This ship does not turn worth a crap. I really want to like it, but I'm telling you, it's just not a turning ship. It doesn't turn very good. I might end up getting one of my other boats to run this stuff. Tough old boat, though, you got to admit. I just got to get that turning down, man. I'm just not quite used to it. Something's going on with it, you know. I don't know if we've officially started a plunder here or not. There we go. Now we can start one. So plundering this is going to give you war assets, but when I was plundering in contested yesterday, I was earning a lot of tokens. So I don't know if it's paying a certain amount of SP for the base. Then you're getting advanced SP over here for the ships because it's technically in contested. But there's definitely going to be a lot more ships aggroed on me. I can't believe I picked the wrong faction. I can't believe I got to redo all this stuff. Let's see, we unlocked a reward. How that's cool. Like I said, there's been a few things since the reset that was a little screwy. I expect we'll probably see an update. I don't imagine we're going to have to wait till next Monday to see an update where they're going to fix some of these issues if they can get some of them fixed quickly. But like I said, if you're not spending your guild marks before you leave out, mine have been converting to silver. So it sounded like there was another guy who'd commented in to the Discord asking about it. Something messed up in there, and while they were supposed to convert at the beginning of this season, I don't think it's supposed to convert every time we log out because that makes it hard to save up. But we've had that happen with things like pieces of 8 in the past. It's not unheard of for it to happen, so just be aware. You need to spend your marks before you leave, which means you need to grind up the full amount that you need in one go. boat somewhere. That's down. We'll see how many guild marks we end up getting out of this, or smuggler tokens we get out of here too. I think it's paying 2,400 per tier, if I'm not mistaken here. I'll be honest, I'm not really paying attention to stuff on the right-hand corner. I'm just not getting anything for drops out of these ships anymore. You used to get some ascended weapons, but it's like they're going to really pinch down on those ascensions, and they've made it where it's almost impossible to get the rolls you really want without rolling a couple of weapons here lately. So that's why I'll stick to a second best and see what I can get. Then if there's some rolls left over, I can always try for it later, but it's hard for me to sacrifice a roll. Like, I'll probably end up rolling that firepower out to a god roll. It could be wasteful. It's always risky because I could end up spending and not getting anything and never see the firepower roll I want and end up stuck with the extra damage. So there's at least one mark got earned. Let's check it out here. So we'd spin everything. We earned 5. Like I said, if something's going on, you should be earning 5 smuggler tokens every time you run a plunder. But like I said, I'm going to run it. I want to get the pass done. I want to get my blubbering station. I should be able to get that this next one. We're just going to run this other fort real quick. And this is what I was doing last night and was just flying through the pass. And for some reason, it like kicked me out of the faction stuff. And when I went back in last night, Campaign Royale was at the bottom and DMC was at the top. When I went to the bottom, right as I joined, I realized that I was joining the DMC, and I did not want to join the DMC. No offense to you DMC guys out there, just we wanted to see how long we could stay in the Campaign Royale and if we could keep tripping it as the winner. And I joined the wrong stuff, so I'm going to get my butt kicked by the Discord now. Man, I don't remember that blind spot when we were playing the mission for this thing earlier. Maybe it was on there. I know the frigate's got one, but I sure did not recognize that or didn't even realize it had that on there. It seemed like I even made a comment about it not having one. I have to go back and check that video out from last night. I think there's only one turret over here. But it could be because these faction ships cost for, or they pay so well. That may be where it's coming out because you get a lot of ships. There's a ton of ships over here, and that's a lot of points. Hey, that was actually some weapon racking to send or salvage, I should say. Keep it all day. Actually, that might have been a happy mistake because all of these may actually drop ascended weapons. Wouldn't that be great? I think I'm getting hit by a tower somewhere still. There's a tower right there. That's not ascended. Well, some of them were. Pretty sure it's toast. Nope, it's still there. See that boat, it'll get to just rolling to the right. And it's only happening in the Corvette, so I'm not sure what's going on. I've tried other ships. But it'll get to where it just starts rolling to the right. Like turning on you real fast. And I'm going to have to play around with the furniture a little bit because I don't like the slow takeoff speed. I can work that out with some furniture, I'm sure. But I seen how fast it was spinning earlier. Here in a minute, it'll just barely move. Yeah, I gotta get these weapons set up. I need to just get in my plundering boat. Like I said, it's gonna be set up for sea monsters, but it's still. I want to see how viable it is for other things. Because if it's not viable for just normal gameplay, I need to know now. That way, I could be focusing on a ship for that as well. You know, a lot of options out there. Top deck weapons. I mean, 7 forts. That's gonna make a heck of a torpedo boat. Long guns. Uh, there's a pretty cool build I've heard going to be made. So when Sirius gets that finished, I'll let y'all know where it's at. And he's going to put some videos out on that, I believe, here the next few days. But I'm sure it's going to be like with everybody else. Usually when we put builds out, we make sure that it's a viable build and it's actually going to do what it says. Because we don't want to see you go in there and waste a bunch of points, man. A bunch of the marks. Say, the campaigning royale boats, they're not actually part of the plunder, but man, I'll keep shooting them. I'm getting some really nice points off of that stuff. That may be why it's ramping the SP. Like I say, no matter what faction you're in, just run the plunders over here. As long as it's contested zones, you should be able to get your points pretty quick. I gotta get closer to grab them other boxes. I think that gold one's got it ascended. That front cannon doesn't have any upgrades at all on it yet. I'm not sure what's over there. I'm not going to leave the zone. I want to finish the plunder. Those new demi cannons, I am looking forward to those. Those things look like they're going to be nasty. They have a poison acrid effect to it. It's going to be the 24th, I think is when it was. Let me look at the calendar there. Should be the Ting event. There's the Drowning Plague. What? Sure, that's not the 24th of March. Wow, that's gonna be a long way out. But Neon returns, and that's where we're gonna get that new demi cannon. So that'll be nice to be able to pick that up there. It is a poison based, 600 meters is what that thing's gonna shoot. That's like right up there with Covern territory. So that's going to be pretty sweet. It's going to have toxic damage and all. Now, I don't know how that will work with the squid beans it's using. It's an ink attack, but it's effectively it's just acrid. It's putting across the water the acrid effect. So hopefully it works good against ships. So I think it's going to be a great one against ships. Okay, let's go find us another plunder. I think there's one over in this bay. I gotta start watching. Yes, that's I think what my problem is. I've been using a medium ship, my schooner that I use for most of my plundering and all. At base, it's just a really nice, badass ship. But I've been using it a lot, and it's got a better turn rate than this thing. Once I get this turn rate down, it won't be too bad. I don't say it's worse than the frigate. It seems like it may actually be a little better. Not by much, but it seems to me the takeoff on it is quite a bit slower. And we got a pest flunky over here somewhere. Now, I will say that the sea monster stuff, like I say, the sea monster armor, it's not even completed yet, and this did a really good job of blocking the acrid crap he's doing, the toxic part. So this is going to be a pretty good armor, I think, once it's upgraded. But I could tell the difference. This thing wasn't taking hardly any damage at all with anything earlier today, even over at Megafort. But I just swapped out the armor to this crap, so I may switch it back until I get this upgraded. But it'll be a viable build to grind with. It's not going to get smoked out here, but I'm going to use a lot of cannonballs, but culverins usually do. $4,500 infamy. So this is never a good idea going to the other screen, but we're going to do it anyway. Alright, that's got the blubbering station now, so we'll have to return to port here shortly and go get that. I don't think there's any other viable, cosmetics, but anything that's pressing to grab out of there, so I may switch back to focusing on the build, grinding out some more stuff. Like I said, if I could net enough ascended weapons out of this stuff, I could definitely see making it a major grind, but I'm just not pulling out what we used to pull out of these things. Talk about missing the crap out of something. Let's switch over here. I like how they've got that marker on there. They put that thing out, I think it was last season. Picked up 4 ascended weapons in this mess. Think back. neither the mortar or that bow weapon is upgraded yet. I'm gonna have to do some work on that. And I'm not sure what to do with the mortar, man. Maybe go with fire. I'll have to look at it. But I've really been thinking about maybe getting the Eye of Heaven back out and putting on this ship because it does that electric damage and just make an electric build out of this thing. Guess let's just watch what I'm doing here. Alright, 4 assets are grabbed. These are all 14 boats. Last season they were 15s, and they would carry ascended weapons, and you could just hammer out some really good stuff. Now, some of the 14s will have ascendeds, but it's you got maybe a 30% chance of actually grabbing any ascended weapons out of a level 14 boat. I don't like the delay of the having to wait for that thing to sink down that they've added. Alright, we're going to go to a fast travel location here. Might jump over on some Wolvenhol here in a minute. Because I think you can pull about 14 Ascension modules out of that thing. We just did 3 plunders, and I've got, what, 6 Ascendeds we can run. I'm just not sold that that's going to be the most productive way to grab these things. I've not really noticed much with the water spouts. I've seen them pop up near battles a few times, but I've never had them actually swing in on you, so I don't think they're going to be as big of a problem as some folks were afraid of. It looks like you have to choose to engage with it, so I won't start playing around with some of that maybe later, but just getting used to utilizing it to your advantage, you know. Alright, we're going to do a fast travel and do some salvaging. What all we got in our warehouse here? Or cargo. Oh, I had a Megafort cache in there, huh? Now these top deck Ascendeds, I've just been opening them up, and unless it's something that I really want or need, I just go ahead and I salvage that thing too. That's a little pick 2. Yep, I am going to scrap all of that. Move this stuff over. We managed to get, I think a lot of this stuff is in my warehouse or in my storage already. I don't know why it's trying to do that. That's jacked up. I'll try this one more time. There we go. Gotta make sure you're on the right screen. Keep those in the deck. Don't need that. Don't need that. Nope. And 424, 500. So we're sitting pretty good on cargo space. I was getting pretty good payouts last night with the Zamaharabu scales. They was actually kicking out 2 every battle. Used to you might get 1, you might get 2, but they were actually giving 2 each time last night. So that was pretty nice when building that Corvette. If you're going to do the Corvette, there's a mission over in Talak Panjara at the blacksmith. Make sure you pick up that mission before you build your Corvette. Otherwise, you're going to have to build 2 of them, like I had to do last night. So, but one of them's not ascended up all the way. So, I haven't decided if I'm going to keep it or not. I've already spit the iron on it, so I might. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. Here we go. Let's see how many marks we can get out of this. Ascension module's not really marked. Come on now. One Ascension module out of all that. That's sad. 13 upgrade parts. That's still pretty sad. Okay, yeah, I think I'm going to have to go back into Wolvenhol. Let's take no boat into Wolvenhol and check it out. I bet this armor's not going to hold up, but we're going to do it anyway. Make everybody mad coming in here with a level 14, 15 boat. Looks like it's in battle here. Now, this battle has been a little screwy today. I've actually had a couple times now where Commander Ashtade, or however you pronounce his name, he doesn't show up. And if he doesn't show up, you can't complete this mission, so you got to back out and come back in. I just seen his name flash, so he's in the battle now. So we're going to be good. Now, I've actually had a few times, quite a few times actually, where this battle actually, as soon as you sink him, the battle's over. So, wow, this armor is like kind of light. That did some freaking damage. Now, I don't know if I pulled up on him or if he pulled up on me, but I'm pretty sure I was here first. I don't guess it matters. Yeah, so this is going to be, see I already did a stage 2 up here. This is going to be one of those things where I think it completes way too fast after you sink him. It's going to end the battle. It's actually tied the fort health into the ship. I don't know why it's doing that. It doesn't always do it, but it does do that on occasion. Well, hello. I'll oblige you. Get up in there. Make my job easier hitting that weak spot. I think I've got a boat pushing up on me. Yeah, another freaking patty. So as you can see, the fort health was actually tied to the commander in that one. Now the next one we do, it may or may not be that way. It's very rare for him not to show up. He's not even sunk yet. We've beat the fort. Explain that to me. I'm not sure what's going on with it, but that's actually going on. So these things have been reported in. But like I say, I want to play the game. If they can't get the thing fixed, I'd grind it, guys. That's what I'd do. But that's totally up to y'all. Now, sometimes if you look around, this dude must. Who is this? This might be one of our. Nope, just some guy. That poor dude was getting bumped around between us. I do like that you can actually just do a skip, come straight out. You don't have to go back to shore. You can run this thing several times. Just don't open your chests and stack that stuff up, and you should be able to, do your battle just fine. But other times that fort will run just fine. But a lot of times here lately, it's like the fort health is actually attached to the commander. So if you're kind of like, I don't really want to do that long grind, it's not really that long, man. It's been going pretty quick. All right, going back to the map. Go ahead and reload back in here. And as far as Ascension parts, let's see what we got here. We got the 14 modules and 17 upgrades, so that's not bad. We didn't even focus on shooting any of the ships. A lot of times the ships are, not always, but sometimes they'll drop the ascended weapons, and you can grab that stuff and to salvage it. At the very least, you're going to get a ascended weapon box. Open it if it's something you don't need or don't care about. Unless it's a fully ascended weapon, I usually destroy it. The fully ascended weapons, they proc out a higher reset roll. So if I ever can get some of these new storm tongues from that fully ascended, you would guarantee I would be freaking focused on god rolling those. Now, people are fighting the fort. I'm not seeing the commander yet. He don't always make his appearance right off. There he comes. Hey, we got a healer nearby. Heck yeah. They are the unsung heroes of the game. Well, most games, actually. Okay, it does not seem as though the fort's tied into his health this time, so this is going to be a full battle. This is what I don't understand is guys who use like long guns and they'll be 2 inches away from the ship. Just find a spot and camp it. appreciate the heals, man. I can't get anything. Do that mess. Might get them to themselves. Alright, he just went down. Now we'll get us a few of these sandbucks sitting over here. No weapon. I tell you what, I wish that Ubisoft would fix the issue where the PlayStation 5 speakers crackle the whole time you're playing this game. It doesn't do that with Xbox. I'm pretty sure the weak spot's not over on this side. That looks like it's out of sync here. We still got front towers, but I'm pretty sure that that's going to be over here on the corner of the north side. Yeah, it's right here. So it's final stage. Like I say, some of the timing stuff is off. So, which, you know, you don't have as long of a grind this way. Say that maybe, what are we, like 5 minutes to run here, so it's going pretty quick. Now I imagine what had happened early on is they were having a lot of issues of failure between levels, and I think they've just put a basic health meter on this thing, and those weak points, they work, they rotate. Come on guys, y'all have to watch where you're going, man. Then we can hop out and then load back in. So that, been kind of going between that and running the other stuff, but I'm not really sure what we're earning smuggler point wise on here. We'll look and see if we earned any tokens running that. We've ran Wolvenhol twice. Not really a lot in the sinking of any ships there. I don't think we're getting a whole lot for taking out that one commander either. So, other than like pieces of 8 and stuff. Yeah, so it's looks like it's gonna be pretty well even. Looks like 16 on each, and then we had 14 on the ones down below for the Ascension mods. So not bad. Alright, so we are, if it'll get all that mess off, man, they're killing me with the UI. I'm gonna have to look see if there's some settings for that. Let's see what we got in tokens. 1. We did get 1 token from 2 runs, so. Now, I'm not sure how we're doing on guild marks. It's always been I would finish the leaderboard with the guild marks here before I would get done with the pass. Now that did not happen, as you can see. I've not even reached silver status within here. That's why I think this thing's paying out more than it should, or maybe enough people complained about the last couple seasons where they made them where it was just really hard to get your smuggler tokens, and I think that maybe they listed some people. I don't know, but like I said, I did make a video and post it up, send it in to them. I didn't post it out for everybody, but usually it's just technical videos. That stuff helps. But at the very least, make sure that y'all go to the title screen, and anything that you see that seems off, make sure you report it. They can look into it. If you can send them a link to a video, it works even better. You don't have to upload the video to try and send it to them and all that mess. Just put it on Twitch, or you can put it on YouTube or something like that. Make it where it's more of a technical video. It's hidden where people ain't having to be in there trying to talk and all that. Or you can do like I've done in the past and discuss all the issues in the open like this. Get everybody to comment in down below, and when they see the video, they can come in and like, okay, that'll work. So always make sure you report it. It's the only way we're going to get some of these things fixed on the game. If we ain't reporting it, they don't know. Well, I think they know because we see the same list of the report issues every week, and none of it actually seems to. I won't say it doesn't get better, but it doesn't get resolved. It just kind of gets shuffled around where this week some things work, but next week they might be messed up, but this other stuff is now working. So not really sure what's going on, if they're just trying to direct a grind with it, or maybe that people are rotating a grind heavy and it's causing systems to break. That could be. I think that would be within their server. They would have to tune their server up some on that, would be my guess. There he is. Hard to see it, all that freaking cannon fire in your face. Well, I tell you what, this is one really weak armor on this ship. We're going to have to let them go. I don't think we have a lot of whole HP on this thing, even fully upgraded. I'm going to have to look into that. I didn't really see where it was at. To me, it kind of feels like a snow as far as the health of it, or just stability of it. Yeah, I figured that was coming when it went into his berserker phase. Pick my garbage up over here. I'm going to join the bumper squad. Come torpedo boats. see, not a whole lot of fighting on this fort anymore, man. Remember when they said they was going to fix where when you come out of the cut screen at the end of the fort that you get shot, and I never actually had that issue before they fixed it. So, like I said, there's always a few things they got to work on their quirks. But I've almost accepted that it's going to have some broken aspects to it. Just this week, it seems like it's broken in our favor. Next week, it might not be playable. So I would say grind it while you can, as long as it's working and you're getting some points. You know what? Let's go see. I'm gonna see about upgrading that front weapon, and I'm gonna take and dump or that other broadside, and maybe open some stuff up on the front. And see what we do to the Kraken there. But I really think I need that armor upgraded fully too, and see what kind of stuff's on there. It doesn't hurt to see what kind of damage we're putting out on that thing. Most of the other weapons I have are fire and explosive. I've got a few I built for some electric back in the day, but I never really went too heavy into it. Yeah, one of our Discord members was with the crew. They were all in level 17s. They said that they'd beat it once, but that it was like jacked up. That they're gonna have to make some serious adjustments to it. So I wasn't there when it happened though. I've not beat it. I've not seen any videos put out on it yet, so I'm just still trying to figure out the best way to build our thing out here. Yeah, I mean, 10 minutes, and that's if you can be in there right as it starts. Usually, when I get in, there's like 5 or 6 minutes left, and there's just not much damage being done. There's an issue, it's a known issue where hitting the weak spots on the head, sometimes it doesn't actually do anything as far as like adding to the damage that you're putting on a creature and stuff like that. They're aware of it, so I guess we'll be seeing some of that stuff here change here pretty soon. I need to open up these Ascension things and break these weapons down real quick. Yeah, it's definitely gonna take a team of people to do it. I don't think there's gonna be any one god build that where we can go in with Wolvenhol, even if there's no one helping. You have that one build that you can bring in, or there's actually really a couple different builds you can take in there, and you could solo that for it, especially the way they've got it designed now. I hope that they don't make the Kraken like that. Maybe they need to just reduce the amount of waves to 3 instead of 5, because like I said, we made it to the end of wave 2 and ran out of time right as wave 3 was loading in. So, and there's still what wave 3, wave 4, and wave 5. I just don't think there's just enough time up there. But like I say, they say that there's a guy that said that him and some buddies he played with actually beat it. So, and that's pretty good. He's never lied to me about what he used before. So he, based off what he was talking about, I'm kind of changing some things up on a build here as a white jade, and I'm not really a healer type. Now let's see what we can do here now. Let's salvage this garbage. Okay, this one here needed another ascension. It's pretty close to it though, so I think I'm gonna take it maybe see what we can get on the armor here. Vigor, increase the maximum stamina, toxic damage resistance, increase flooding. Huh. Could use the resist all. 2.2 to 5%, so a god roll would be 5% on that. Now it does use piercing on the upstroke. It also uses that acrid and toxic. I think I'm gonna go for a resist all. We'll try it. Then if we can get at least the basic rolls on this thing, I could see maybe going over and trying the yeah, I don't want that. Let me just roll each one and see what we can get base here. Restoring whole health per second. And I'm not going to fight it, but I would like something a little better than that. Alright, let's see if we can get resist all on here. There's a stout god roll. I'm going to go ahead and throw it on there just to be safe. Honestly, let's see what we got on here for... It's going to increase your damage by 10% as well that you put out. Okay. See, ironclad increasing armor rating by 10.7 at the max. Survivor could be a nice perk. Once you get below 25%, it repairs 15 to 18% total whole health over a period of 10 seconds. Or even a craftsman might be pretty good. So that's secondary damage resistance. I think its secondary damage is toxic, honestly. Let's go with stout on that. And let's see if we can god roll this. We lock this mod here in. No, I don't want to. I want to change that out. I want to get. I think a survivor perk on that would be nice. See what we can do. It's a little better than the health one, but not what I want. So there's survivor perk. Okay, let's grab that. Let's go ahead and lock it. This does an additional 150 per second. That could work pretty good with this, but I mean, if you're looking at, if I get that 16% on there twice, that's 32% of the whole health. You can get up to 25, yeah, so if it drops to 25, get up to 18, that could be sitting pretty good at a 36%. But it's only for 10 seconds, right? Or over a period of 10 seconds. Man, it means you got to last 10 seconds afterwards. Yeah, I think we're going to go ahead and try to get another survivor perk here. Let's see. That actually isn't bad. A fortitude, and it's already god rolled. So, all right, we got this locked in. Let's see if we can get a god roll on it here. And there's a god roll, 18.4. Well, that was a lot easier than some of these weapons. Okay, so this Roaring Meg, I think it's just some basic stowed on it. I'm actually going to change this out. I want to switch my auxiliary weapon here. Do I have any? I have heavens fully upgraded, not on a ship. Nope. Okay. We'll take this one here, maybe. Take this one here. We're going to upgrade on it a little bit. Now, I can't recall what the cost of this. I think it requires dragon claws on some of these things, maybe. Not this one, it don't. Okay, it's combustion, explosive damage. We have a basic of electric and blast, which is explosive. So that would be a worthless perk there. I think if we could get amplified electric on here a couple times, it'd be pretty sweet. Let's see what we can roll out here. We just got our god roll on a destroy a target, restores 1900 brace strength. That's not going to help with the sea monster, so that's going to have to be re-rolled. But we'll jump over here and check it real quick. You know, I don't know if severe damage counts toward the sea monster. I don't think it does. All right, we're going to re-roll this one here. Nope, don't need siege. Amplified electric would be great. Watch me roll away all the little points I've got. Blast range increase. Nah. Killing me. Alright, let's try this one a little bit. If it gets where it's not rolling right, I'll jump to another one here. So this is going to have a 16% chance to restore brace strength of the ship. That's all hits. We'll go ahead and grab it just because it's better than severity, but what I really would like is some amplified electric. At least one would be great. Taunted status effect. Now, if some folks are using that new torpedo, this could actually put a taunt on the squid or the Kraken, and their torpedoes would be doing more damage. But I can't guarantee that someone will be using poison torpedoes, so siege ain't gonna do nothing. Jeez. Okay, let's keep the brute. Got a few points left. I'm gonna go ahead and roll some of this with the upgrade parts. Maybe we can get something better going on here. I would like to get just a firepower perk would be awesome. Just increasing the firepower. There we go. We can lock it in. Then see if we can god roll it. There we go. Now, Victor's Rally. We're going to try to get the amplified electric here. I think we're going to roll through all of our points here. Wow. Increased blast radius. We'll go with that. That's better than that other one. This is costing... Oh, this is just costing upgrade parts. Well, shoot. We can roll the crap out of this stuff. I thought we were actually using our... There's amplified explosive. There is an explosive perk on here, so... But that's not what I want. What I want is amplified electric. Oh, it makes me sick sometimes. Alright, well, let's lock this in. Let's see if we can god roll it with that last 20 rolls. Ran out of it takes what 5 of those things to roll it. Okay, well, guess we're gonna be stuck with amplified explosive for the moment. And it's not even a god roll, so we're gonna have to get some more Ascension modules. So the third one costs 5 per roll. That's what's slowing things down. Hey, what's up there, Egro? Yeah, we're still a little better off than we were a few minutes ago. All right. I don't think we're ready for this, but we're going to jump in it anyway. I want to see where we're getting. A rank 16 is required, so I've not even hit rank 16 yet on the ship yet. So, yeah, okay, no big deal. That's why I decided to do a live stream to show people what it takes to grind through this stuff. I mean, I see a lot of requests for specialty parts and stuff like Ascension modules. Man, if you realize how much we struggle just to get our rolls in there, I don't think people would ask for those as much. Torpedo build, yeah. So the torpedoes, they do really good against the tentacles on this thing, on that Kraken, as far as like just making them wince back so they don't strike the ships, so you can get in. So the torpedoes are going to be key to having a torpedo guy to a sniper, so that they can stall that out so the snipers can get a shot. So you need somebody in mid range, spreading around some damage on the inner tentacles. I think with a proper crew of about 8 folks, you can do that thing. I think pretty easy. Come in here and get some more modules. I got to get the front weapon and the rear situated. Where's Acti? We're in the broken server. This is the one where he's not going to come back. Pretty sure. Yeah, arrives in 5 minutes on the Armada. Everybody's been exiting this one. Okay. So what I'm going to do is just head to shore. Like I said, I think these load you into different servers. All these folks coming in over here, I think they're just waiting for the battle to end, because unfortunately there's no way to jump out of it without completely backing out of the game and coming back in and all that mess, which then messes up the live stream. So that's going to give me a chance to run to the restroom real quick while we wait for this one. Looks like 5 minutes. But yeah, so I'm glad it happened though, because it's rare, but it does happen. When you come in and that fort's riled up, there's only like 5 or 6 minutes left. It's because it's a failed server load, and you best just head back over and wait it out, or back completely out of the game and come back in and then rejoin. But I'll be right back, guys. Yeah, you'll see like failed to perform operation pop in on stuff. Typically, if you see that when you first load into a server and it's not started a battle yet, it means that that thing's going to not show up. Active will not show up. So at least that's what it seems to be to me. It's failing to do some sort of operation to load that guy in. I don't know why it's letting us know that. It should be letting the server know, but for whatever reason, that particular thing in Wolvenhol, you'll either defeat it in like 3 minutes. The Thunder Dragons on a Garuda? I don't know. I think it mostly checks for your that Garuda does best for long guns. I'm pretty sure, but it could be. I've got a Demi Cannon Megafort now become the best place to farm. Yeah, man, I think so. Even though you occasionally, and it's rare for it to actually load this up, guys, like this where that fails out. Um, Typically, what happens is the fort is tied to Commander acting. As soon as you sink him, it gives you the chest, and you haven't even had to fight the fort. So that actually looks like the commander just popped up there. But I'm pretty sure there's like a minute 46. Nah, it's just another player there. We're going to wait him out. Go ahead and check to see what we got. Move some of this mess to our warehouse here. Now I could just put a ascended weapon on the front of this thing here, and just to I think all my fully ascendeds are attached to ships, so yeah, most of this is just crap. But that there, it does have a god roll on it. Let's see what we got here. So you got acrid, tearing, and lethal. We'll throw it on the bow and see what it does. That can get us to the Kraken anyway. Yeah, that brought us to level 16, so we still got 30 seconds waiting on this thing. So that makes 3 times out of, I don't know, maybe 20, 25 times I've ran this thing now. About 3 of them have been a fail, but the rest of them, for the most part, have been defeat the Commander Acti and the battle's over. You get the chest, and there's a few where it lasts maybe 7 or 8 minutes to get through it. Oh no, now we got a failure on us. There we go. Make sure you bring up that map screen before you try to hold the exit out of there. Otherwise, you'll just jump back to the water and then jump back an island. So, yeah, failed to perform an operation. So when it starts doing that mess, it's because you're coming out of that jacked up server. It could be such a pain. I mean, it doesn't affect the game. It just keeps flopping up there for a little bit. All right, we're going to try to jump back in and do the Kraken now that we got it up 16. I'm just not expecting much with my weapons currently where they're at because they're not fully god rolled yet and they're not exactly set up. Actually, before we do that, I need to put the blubbering station on here because that is a must-have. Let's see, furniture. The blubber works, that's what it is. It's major furniture. Okay, so that's got that. So for those who are wondering what that does, this is going to, after 4 consecutive hits on a sea monster, it reduces the reload time of broadside weapons for 15 by 15% for 20 seconds. Missing a shot resets the counter. Consecutive hits on sea monster weak point deals 10% more secondary damage up to 40% for 5 seconds, increasing the weapons damage of sea monsters by 10%. Now, secondary weapons damage of what I'm currently using is explosives, I believe, on that particular weapon. Let's see. Combustion. So, yeah, explosives. We amplified explosives on that one. Amplified electricity on this, I think, and lethals. I did second storm and lethal. But if I get enough things, I'll probably come back in and maybe re-go through that because that lethal perk. I don't know. We'll see. I might bolster the combustion just to work with that furniture. But lethal's not a bad perk to have on that thing, but it's not the one I really wanted. I need to go back and check my furniture real quick. So there's Blubberworks, charge stores, secret cache. So what this does, it increases turning rate by 16% and increases your acceleration by 16%. Doesn't sound like much, but it does help. It's noticeable on the Corvette. To me, the Corvette, it turns fine once it starts its turn, but it's not a very responsive ship. So I don't know if that's something that's actually supposed to be with the ship. I know that the frigate had an issue where it had kind of a tick to it, and it would take a minute to respond to controls. And I think that's some of what's going on because I can tune some of it out with that furniture. But it may be the ship itself. So that's something they're going to have to look at. So I'll probably put a video out and send one in to them and see what they can do. See, decrease reload time of broadside weapons by 7%. Well, yeah, we're going to do that. We want to decrease that as much as possible. Like I say, this build is going to be an ever evolving one until we find the one that works here. I'm not using siege weapons. Reduces reload time of electric weapons by 6%. That could be pretty nice for this. Counter thrust locker. After ramming a target, increases acceleration. I'm not planning on ramming anything, so we're going to switch that. I may go for the secret cache again, but we'll keep looking just to make sure. No, I probably will want to increase DPS most likely, but deals 14% more weapon damage to a taunted target. So here's what I was thinking earlier is with this furniture, if you're running taunt on your weapons, you could be putting out an additional 14%, or if folks are running taunt on some weapons, that could actually work. That new torpedo that they're using, that you get out of the pass, the wound maker, I think it is, it applies taunt, and then it starts to do an additional 25% damage over a period of 10 or 15 seconds, something like that, or additional 250 damage to it. I forget. I have to go back and look, but it increases it. But I'm not running anything with taunt yet, but that might be something I'll look into. All right, then I've got high velocity keg. I'm not really using piercing weapons, so I could put on something for defense. This would reduce the area of effect damage from enemy ships. But see, I don't think that has anything to do with the sea monster. That just works for the enemy ships. Let's see what else we got. Now, what I need to use is a Trunion station. But I think it's actually a... it might be a major. Let's go over here. Or I may not have an extra one yet. That may all be awarded to a ship. I'm going to have to go ahead and check this out real quick. I think he's selling them at Blackwood. I'd like to say, for those just tuning in until they fix it, and I don't know when it's going to get fixed, when you log out, if you don't spend your guild marks before you leave the game, when you log back in, it has been converting it to silver since I come in to the game today. So just beware. That's what's happening. I don't know why it's happening that way. I did, like I say, take a video of it and send it in to Ubisoft, so hopefully they can get that resolved. But if you're wondering where to turn in any bug reports, when you're at the title screen, if you look down at the bottom, it has an area for you to actually hit, depending on what your control type is, a keyboard or your controller, and you could go in and actually report those. Or you could just go to Ubisoft. They give you a link in the Discord when they post up for the Helm stuff. You can click on that link, and you can actually then attach your video titles and things like that, and video links that you make. And they seem to respond better to getting an actual video of the issue so they can see exactly what's going on than just telling them some random information. So, all right, what was we doing here? I got sidetracked talking about nothing. Here you are. It's either Blackwood or the Founding Chest. I don't remember which. Let's see here. Oh, and I think I spent... I'm almost positive I spent what I need. Let's see. That Rotmouth was a pretty decent weapon. I've got one on... Oh, that's a siphon furnace. Okay. It must be over here. The Founder's Chest. So we're going to have to run some convoys. That's fine. I don't mind breaking off some other stuff for a little bit. I find if you keep the grind kind of diversified, it usually does pretty good. Doesn't bore you too well. Now, I just went and bought a bunch of iron and stuff in here earlier, so that's a little annoying, but... Where's our furniture's at? Siphon, gimbal, stink pot. You know, they may not have it in here. I will have to find what ship it's on and strip it off of it. No worries. There it was. Kept looking all over the place for it. Okay, the Trinian Furnace. Okay, so this is going to hit from a cover and have a 25% chance to spread to nearby targets. Now, on the weapons I've rolled out, I'm going with Secondary Storm, which is electricity, so this should help with that as well. So, does not work on the repair weapons. Now, they have a repair weapon that automatically ricochets. It's the White Jade, so you wouldn't really need something like this on that, but it will not boost the White Jade at all, just so you're aware. Alright, so that's got that. Now, I think what we're going to do is go get flattened by a big old squid or a big octopus. Yeah, I had heard rumors about them switching it to groups of 5, but I had never heard anything about whether or not that was official or not, so I didn't bother mentioning anything about it, but it looks like it's still groups of 3 in the game as far as, like, you know, when you're playing with your friends. I'm not expecting much, because like I say, my bow weapons ain't quite where I want them, and yeah, frigate feels bigger than the Corvette to me, but I believe the Corvette's got more gun ports on it at 38 plus 2 auxiliaries. See how you make it recoil back? You gotta get out of here before you slap down on you. planning on ramming, but hey, let's slide on by them. Ooh, get knocked around. I'm not sure how many minutes is even left in this. 6? Yeah, there's no way he'd drop it in 6 minutes. But Thunder Dragons, they definitely easier to hit them with. You want to get them in those big eyes. The front eyes don't seem to do as much damage, and he's got some kind of porthole back here that shoots that poison. Yeah. It's supposed to be some kind of caustic ink. It just looks like acrid from La Peste. I might be a little close to him, but we want to get them eyes on the backside. And what I'm thinking is, yeah, we'll have to scoot. Come on now. That is probably the only thing I don't really care for on the ship right now is, well, one, you get tapped by it and it spins this thing around. They need to work on its stability a little bit, I think. For it to sit so light in water and be knocked around so easy, it should not take so long to actually get it moving. That's just my opinion. See, I don't think anybody knows how to do it, but you got to get close enough to hit those big eyes on his head. You're not going to do anything just shooting the tentacles. They're just to block you from getting up in there. It embraced it, did some damage. Closer than I'd like to be. An ink shooter? Yeah, so I guess it's an ink shooter. This department sucks. Is trying to get turned around here. He's right on the edge. But a lot of times you get some shots in on him as you come around. Not always, but sometimes. Here we're going to get pushed out of bound by that tentacle. Way off course. So they need to work on expanding the boundary a little bit, I think. That's just my opinion. Pretty sure they ran out of time. It's going to wave 2. As you can see, it's just kind of at the mercy of whatever this thing's doing to your ship. Ah, we're caught in a whirlpool. Let's back out of that thing. Jeez. Now, I remember from what the deck was saying that it would not attack the same target twice in a row. That doesn't seem to be what I'm experiencing here. I feel like I'm being singled out, but I might be the only ship left. No, there's plenty of people here. Almost at a time. They were marked last night, to be fair to them, but no, I didn't notice the weak spots being marked with red this time, so you're not really sure what to shoot, other than to aim for its head. The main eyes you could do some damage to, but they weren't counting as weak spots. This thing is like got it hard on toward me. Got to figure out his rhythm here. Yeah, you do lose quite a bit of time, don't you, Wolfman, on the between the sections of the fight. You know, I think I might actually just go back to doctor. There's like 50 seconds left. We'll do a repair by the time it's repaired, though. No, it was like 15 tenths of a second, I guess. It's over. Yeah, so definitely going to need to do a little bit more something there. I'm almost thinking I'm going to have to break down and do a long gun build, and I really was hoping not to have to do that because I've spent all this resource on culverins, so. Could sit back and use this thing toward doing the tentacles and stuff. Like I said, I'm just not a real big fan of the Thunder Dragon on my front bow there. I tried it out mostly to get it up to 16, but I think I like the speed of the culverins as far as like how fast they reload a lot better. So I'll get back in here and change that real quick. Yeah, I'm thinking they're going to have to bump it to 30 minutes or reduce its strength by a lot. But like I said, it's not actually working properly. They put into there's that wound collar I was telling you about as far as the new torpedo. Maddening resonance. So this is based off of a monster build, what it sounds like to take that stuff on. So you have 15% chance to trigger taunted. We could actually put a that furniture on that we had earlier, and then once it's taunted, when you hit, it'll have what they call unlucky taunt, which does 250 damage per second. It can be stacked up to 5 times. So that's not bad. 50% chance of triggering that taunted effect, throwing that extra furniture on, that could be pretty nice too. So I may work on a torpedo build as well later on. But I wanted to give these culverins a try and see what they were. I still think I can make them viable, but we'll have to wait and see. Gotta give them a fair chance by getting everything upgraded, and we're just not quite there yet. I won't throw that on the front. %, as long as you're long range on your medium range. Well, do we see any convoys? There's one there. Yeah, it should be enough time to run it. I didn't really see anything in the store over there as far as that you're going to earn with these coins here, Lions coins. that I really want and don't have plenty of, so I don't know. Might run it anyway just to get some modules and stuff out of it. Nobody's running this convoy. Now this has explosive 1, so it's going to take a while for it to make through the explosive effect on this. The barriers that they got, it takes explosive to get through it, but man, I'm telling you, it's going to take a while with this. I used my schooner yesterday, and it did a pretty good job, but it boosts everything with explosives. Healer over here doing some healing somewhere. I tell you what, there's one area of the map that I used to really love running, and it was here, but they've made it just so ridiculous with this ship. All you do is sit there and spin circles the whole time you're in battle anymore. They've totally taken the fun out of the actual storms of it. I think most people even avoid the battles now over here. But that seems to be the common failure rate amongst the people that are handling the game currently, is they think that just making something where it's harder is going to make it so people enjoy grinding it. You know, I'm like most folks. I want a challenge, but I want a challenge that I can achieve by grinding and building a ship. I don't want to be in here and just be annoyed by rogue waves constantly and all that kind of mess. But they're going to have to do some handling on this Corvette. It's going to be something they got to work on. See, we're just locked in. Both of us being shoved around now. I ain't even worried about it. Go back to our grind. There we go. So if you were sick of Wolvenhol in Season 2 and you were just fed up with it in Season 3, understand it's really the most viable area to get the things you need to get your ship up to a level 17. It's not impossible. It really doesn't take that long the way the fort is right now. But I will advise you that the rolls are just horrible here lately. They've completely messed that up where it's very rare to get a decent roll. Yeah, you can get a god roll, but it's usually on something that's completely worthless to what you're trying to build. What was the one for the second storm or wind storm or whatever it was to help you turn? You have a 10% chance of getting a 2% health, or weird stuff like that. You know, you get some really weird options to choose from. And again, I'm pretty sure they've done that thinking that it's going to cause a higher grind, but I don't know that that's what's going to work out for them. Hope so. Yes, that's the size difference between the Corvette and the frigate. There's quite a bit of difference. I mean, it's a large ship, but the frigate still is still far superior in size. Oh, I absolutely agree. Like I said, we got a lot of guys over in Discord that are running it. But until I get my ship up to the par and stuff, I just don't see jumping over there and failing. I don't like to fail a mission. So I try to just kind of focus on what I need to do on my grind, and then I'll jump in and see what we can do. But got some good ones on your Rama. Yeah, I've got a few torpedo builds I've thought about taking over there. I've got some level 17 ships. I just haven't used them over there because it's not really built for sea monsters, you know. I'd have to completely change out some of the furnitures and stuff, I think. Definitely want to put blubber works on it. Hey, damn. Grabber. Drop over here. Yeah, so we need to go over to the side here. Pick up our weak spots. Come on, man. Turn left, dude. Like I said, this is a large ship, and something as small as the Patty is able to shove it around in the water. So it sits awfully light in the water to be so long-winded on taking off. It's got a really slow acceleration rate just to get it to where it will actually like start to move. But once it gets moving, it's not bad. Oh, come on. Yeah, we missed a weak spot. So even this one here, this would be like your longer Wolvenhol battle here because it didn't time out with the commander. But typically, if I get one where the commander fails, I'll wait a little bit before I rejoin it, like we did a little while ago, and play around on the ship, move some things around, maybe try another mission or something, and then load back in, and it usually will correct the fort. If it doesn't, then sometimes you completely back out of the game, restart your console, and come back in. I don't know why you would have to do that. Like I said, it's just one of those things where you got to kind of find out what works best for you. But you see how the ship turned real slow? I'm actually holding left on the joystick. It's heading hard right. And then just as it starts to turn, that thing will take off and you just lose all turning ability. I'm not sure what's causing that. This is the only ship that I'm having that issue on, so I'm pretty sure it's built into the mechanism of the ship. And I'd heard a lot of things about how this was a really slow, lumbering, turning ship, and then they had tweaked some things just before release to make it a little faster, turn a little better. And I think what's happened is that they don't have that quite dialed in right. So made some videos and sent them in to them. And like I say, if it's designed to be that way, I just wouldn't use the Corvette. But I think the ship holds a lot of potential, though. But I'm actually trying not to hit these ships. I'm not sure what it's doing. It just draws right into them. And maybe the captain's drunk on the ship. I don't know. I have to check him out. Give him a breathalyzer or something. You know how GTA is with your character when you jump in the ride and you're inebriated and you can't see and it doesn't respond quite right? That's the way it kind of acts sometimes. God, that freaking respawn crap that they do in this game. Here we go. You go, there's a good spot to park, and all of a sudden the ship pops up. Boom. You know, I keep forgetting that we don't have to come all the way over here. We can just skip out and then rejoin. Get me a little bit of junk food here. Yeah, so the frigate has 6 top spots. The Corvette has 7. So you would be gaining an extra torpedo on each broadside. What is the under siege quest? Plunder any one national trading company fort. What? Fort Granby or Fort DeBout? Okay, well, I want to check and see if we got any kind of Helm contracts, because I think we might be able to get us some Helm materials and complete that mission at the same time. We've got a Silver Sentinel there. Not something I really use, but we'll throw it in there. But I'm sure it's going to get dismantled. Okay, so let's head over to St. Anne here. Now, running Helm, I don't do as much as I used to. I've got a pretty good stockpile, but I still try to run a little bit of Helm every day when I get on, just so you can get around 700 of a resource. Sometimes around, a couple decent contracts while you're online, get you, anywhere between 700 and 1400 in materials, and then get that stuff making in your factories. That's going to give you silver later on. And I do recommend keeping some of that stuff back. Don't convert it straight to silver. The reason I say that is in the past, there's been exploits passed around, and while I try to squash things like that in the Discord or even in chat in the game, people talk about exploits they can do to make a lot of silver. The reason I do that is because we've had 3 major silver resets, and when you're not exploiting and you have to keep redoing all your stuff, eventually you're going to reach a point where enough is enough. And unfortunately, we lost a lot of players with the last one. So I try not to contribute to that stuff here. All right, check our registry. Oh, nothing there. That thing's been down all day, the registry has. Even the supply network was messed up this morning, but it worked yesterday. Yeah, so I don't know what like I said, there's some issues still. I was hoping we'd have a Granby. Let me go to Talat and just see if maybe it's there. But if all else fails, guys, you can still be running that Wolvenhol. As you can see, it doesn't take long to run through it. It's just shoot the ship and shoot the fort. You don't even have to aim for the weak spots anymore. Yeah, so that aspect is down. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to hop off of here. I appreciate everyone jumping in for the live stream. Hope I was able to answer some of your questions. And I'm just going to keep working on this Corvette. I've got a frigate that's a level 17 already, so I may try it over there later. How to start production? Yeah, I can show you how to do that. Let's see here. I think we're going to go to the Helm. I've not actually done this yet, but click on here, and yeah, there's where you can make war assets. So you can make 12.7 per hour. So you would just click on it. Now it's going to cost pieces 8 for you to convert it instead of silver because it's a product. So it'll cost you 710 pieces of 8 for a 48-hour period to run that on the war assets. But like I said, you earn plenty of them just running these things here. Let's go over to our faction wars. Let's see where we're at on that pass real quick. So we've only made it to like 3. So we could actually run that, but now what ends up happening when you run that is, if I can get us to back up here, what ends up happening when you come in here and build these is you're going to have to pick them up. They don't have an auto collect, I don't think. We'll double check. Switch that over. Hang on a second. This is an auto collect area. So I don't know if it'll let us auto collect or not, but we'll try it. But if you can build 12 an hour, says your shipment is coveted by the enemy, trigger an extraction war event. If successful, war events related to your manufacturers will boost your productions. For this tutorial, we instantly completed your production of war assets. Don't tell you need us. So I guess we're going to have to come in and do some kind of PvP style thing, I guess. Cannot be retrieved by an assigned ship. Sell it to the manufacturer to collect them. And it will trigger an extraction event. Okay. Now, we can't put a ship on it. Okay, we can't even do, okay. We're going to have to actually manually collect it. Let's go check it out. Let's see what it does here. So you actually have to go pick it up like you did in Helm Wagers. My guess is it's going to do something where you're going to be a... Okay, hang on just a second. I've got... I'm going to switch that to invite only real quick. Because the thing I want is this thing scaling right in the middle of battle. We're at Navigator's Cross, heading here. Oh, it says I can fast travel over there. $608 war assets. This is the wrong boat to be in for this stuff. But now, if it's just the computer, I don't know how intense it's going to get. But we'll check it out. Or if it makes you so you're open to PvP at that, I'm not sure. But I was able to run assets and stuff last night, getting tobacco and poppy over at Granby. And for whatever reason, it's not working today, so don't know why that is. Guess we're going to pick up. Yep, just like you would pieces of 8. Okay, well, we'll go ahead and join it, but this is effectively just a Helm wager. And trying to find where the hell we're going to drop this off at. As a cutthroat cargo. Looks like I will be dropping off over here at the sunken gold mine. Jeez. I forgot that boat takes off when you come out of a interact now. No worries.
Like I said, this boat does not handle very well. You get bumped or ram something, it just goes crazy, man. Uh, I'd be honest, man. I'm really thinking about just going back to the frigate and working on a build with these cannons over there because it's not like this thing is boosting anything. Here we're at. We've got a little ways to go yet. So we're going to get shot at by DMC boats too, huh? Now, I don't know if it's went PvP or not. I'm not seeing any players. Maybe it just loads up, but it looked like a Helm wager is what it really looked like. I used to be into PvP games, but when they released Death Tides on here, I was kind of over PvP. We used to try and do, big wage wars across the area and stuff like that, and all that kind of stuff. And I think a lot of folks were a little disappointed with the way that the faction wars is basically has really no PvP aspect to it. A few things, but not really anything viable. Getting that really loppy turning. You join in every takeover you can see. I've not done a takeover in a long time. I finished my helm out in season 1 of this year, and it's been completely upgraded and all. So I haven't done any takeovers or anything, but I did see that they have some takeovers for PvP events for the faction. So I don't know what kind of assets they pay out, but look pretty interesting. But my honest impressions of the Corvette, as much as I wanted to like it, unless they do something with the stability of it, is too wonky on the waters, man. Just a slight ramps, like you come in, you want to ram something, it will throw you so far off. Yeah, it's more or less, I think, for the Kraken fight, honestly. Or for fun, yeah, it could be. Like I say, once you've made contact with a bump, you're pretty much guaranteed you're going to be sliding into a shoreline here. Come on, man, get out of the way. This stuff for the DMC shooting at you too. Like I say, I screwed up joining the wrong faction after it kicked me out of campaigny. But I'm being attacked by anything and everything, so that's kind of weird. So I have to work on that. But it seemed like they were aware of that because it had something about being aggroed during war asset events by your own teammates or by your own faction. So I don't think they're unaware of any of the issues because it was listed into the thing. So apparently they played tested and released it anyway after extending season 1, season 2, and season 3. Come on now. Here we go. Well, we made 610 assets like that, so it was definitely worth running. But that's how you're going to run those assets there. But typically, you're going to have to wait for those to build up to pick them up. Let's see where we're at here. Went over one too many. Maybe it wasn't 600. I don't know how many it picked up. Maybe it was 60. But to me, the cost on the pieces of 8, it's not something I'm going to do. I'll just continue to run the way I usually do, running the factional. Let's go back into this real quick. Alright, we'll just let that build that up. Do some auto collects here. Put a ship on this. Oh, we'll put a sandbuck on her. So I got a 17 Super War and then a 17 frigate that's ready to rock and roll, and I probably will end up pulling one of those over and finishing it off for that Kraken. Pick up some pieces of 8 here. Now I could build more ships. You're not going to be able to build enough to be able to auto collect everything in the game, but I could build a few more and be able to grab this stuff pretty quick. But you know, short of this location here, building Ascension modules, and this one here, I just mostly put this section of the map on hold. I still fund it. If they're full, it doesn't cost silver to fund it, and just auto collect this area right here. Let's go ahead and fund up here. Don't have to fund. Then all this stuff is pulling on its own. So, all right, guys. Well, I appreciate y'all stopping again and watching. But that's what I'm gonna be doing, is just grinding away at this stuff. So y'all have a wonderful day, and hope to see you on the seas.